Good morning, everyone. Today's Tuesday, November the 7th, and this is the Moneyball Morning Report for the Benzinga Pro platform. My name is Anne Marie. I wanted us to see what we were looking at in terms of sentiment and how the markets were moving. Here is yesterday's, and we can see that energy and real estate and the industrials, except for, GE, I think these guys were part of the war machine anyway, but we can talk about that later. General Dynamics, those guys doing okay, but in general, we've got a little bit of a split market. It's not a broad continuation of motion. And for the week so far, it's still very green, right? And this goes back 1 week in time. And Fortinet, I think, when they reported, boy, I do wish I had taken that double butterfly. We looked at that midday one day this week, and I just wasn't feeling it. And boy, I should have, right? But in any case, we're seeing largely upside pressure over the last week. And if we end up going to 6 months, we can see we have the same kind of divided market. It's almost exactly like what yesterday looked like, right? So let's go to the Benzinga platform. I'll wait for it to reboot. And let's take a look. The charts are by TrendSpider, of course. Let's take a look at what's going on. We'll start with oil. Now, I expect oil to continue downward. Energy has been really red. If I want to say why, I'm not going to be able to answer that particularly without, maybe just telling you what I think, which is what I do most of the time, but I usually try to get more data to justify where it is that I'm sitting. This line right here is volume by price, and it's really an area that is providing a lot of buying and interest at this level. So this morning you can see that once it came into that zone, it really is trying to hold a floor. But the problem is it's still heading lower. So here's what we have to see. If this is going to be a good bounce in oil, it's already broken the resistance, old resistance right here, 79.28. This is the next line in the sand, right about 80. And this 80.50 area to literally 80.65, that's the zone where we go, if it can't get up over there, it's going to continue downward. But even though it broke this old area of resistance that became support, it gave us a brand new low. So we've got areas where people are still aggressively shorting. One of the ETFs that people are aggressively shorting in this space and have been for a time is the XOP. I know a lot of big money managers just got in here a little bit too early, shorting at about the 130 area, and so they're underwater. But we do have high and a lower high and another lower high. So the 150 area is that 155 area is where people need to breach. So let's create an alert. Breakthrough. Let's do the breakthrough and whoopsie. Yeah. All right. And we use the daily candles. All right. And so we've got ourselves an alert that says, hey, when this breaks through there, it's going to be moving to the upside. But right now, a lot of people are still thinking about shorting this. And so there's a line in the sand. They absolutely have to defend at 143. We'll keep our eyes on that. I'm going to take a look at the option chains, see if there's anything interesting going on there. All right, let's go to SPY. SPY is still holding in a pretty solid formation. Let's go to the 4-hour. Right, sideways pressure. Last couple of days sitting very sideways. This to me is extremely natural. When price action moves dramatically like this, it's got to digest. Usually what happens, as long as it does not break down, it will go sideways and then break out. This is a chart breaking its trend by time and not price, meaning if all the candles were one time period, you would see that it would be holding that price. Or if we had a candle that was just price relative to nothing else and had no time, it would still be one candle because it has not broken out over 436 and some change. And so people are still trying to hold the floor. To me, this is a buy the dip formation, just like yesterday. Here's the thing. Yesterday had these lower highs And today we're beginning the morning with something that could potentially look like a series of higher lows since the 6 a.m. higher highs, since that 6 a.m. area, and we're now breaking out over the space. This line here was the region that I said, hey, you know what? If indeed we have ourselves a formation that breaks that ledge, we want to make sure that we're ready to short. And indeed, it was a shorting formation. Held the lows. I said, hey, listen, if you're looking for a pullback, wait for it to recover these areas and then take off. It did that. We were actually inside of the our daily, what do we call it? Our midday report on the Benzinga platform when we got this long SPY call expiring at the end of the day, and that ended up doubling for us. So that was very, very nice. All right, today, same sort of thing. We're looking at 434 for the top, 435 for the bottom. The difference here is that we are holding a floor, except for that wick. Even the bodies have higher lows, and we're getting some higher highs. So we could have ourselves a pretty nice upshot. It is a buy the dip formation today. For the Qs, we are in a space where we legitimately could be breaking out of this flag, which could be incredibly bullish. Now, is that actually going to happen? I don't know, but here's what I do see. The lines in the sand that we had for the floor of support yesterday, it did hold. It broke below. We're still by the dip. We broke below above 367. We're in great shape for more upside pressure. Today, that number is 368.30. Above that area, we've got upside pressure. Where do we see sellers? We see sellers at 369 and 370, right? So that's what we're looking at. First group of sellers going to come in right here. We still had that upward formation there, but we had the lower highs. Now we've got higher highs. So the moment it breaks out, what we want to look for is a shallow pullback that holds that 369 ledge. All right, that's what we're going to look for also by the dip formation. Let's take a look at the ES. ES doing the same thing. It's actually in a breakout pattern right now because it's been holding this edge. It flushed out all the weak hands that were long right here at 43.70. Regrettably, I was one of those. Did not let it. I did not let it shake out onto that level. I had my stop set a little bit too tight, blew me out there, and then immediately recovered, which gives us the next buying pressure point, right? So that is fantastic. 43.70.50 upside pressure. Look at where it's headed to. Easily 43.84 in this formation, right? We've got low and then a higher low, but it's working through this noise. So yesterday was a terrible day to trade in the early part of the day. Very sideways, very ugly. The drop to the base of the Keltner channel gave us the buy zone, and it was very nice from there, right, into the edge of the day. For the NQ, not quite to the top of the channel, but we do see it in another breakout pattern, right? Where is that break pattern? My suspicion is that it's right around here, right? 15.224.25, right? 15.224. Where are we coming? You could see the sellers saying, all right, I'm going to take some profit, whether they're buyers going, hey, I'm going to cover right now. I don't know what's going on. I have a sideways Keltner band, which means that for now, because my band is sideways and so sideways, that what I'm really looking for is a pattern that moves dramatically higher and then exhausts. And so that number could be 258. It could be 344. It could be 380, right? A lot of room to run all the way up here. Let's go to the daily and see what we can see in terms of the price pattern event. Yeah, 300 would probably be, 280 to 300 would probably be the next place, but this is by the dip. Everything is by the dip right now. You want to buy it into resistance if you're intraday trading. And then remember, when the candles begin to compress like this, it's usually a wait state before another move. Trend is saying it's upward. From a monthly perspective, we certainly could be moving back out of this flag pattern. But my thought is that it will be a jagged move to the upside. All right, you see the levels right there. We know what we've got to watch. And hey, I look forward to seeing you on platforms. Take care, everyone.